What's going on, guys? This is PJ along with James. We are back with another Essential Guy Talk here at Wrecked Productions. You've already had a crazy week,
Yes,
James.
it has been crazy here.
We had AJ and Big Justice in studio.
And a whole slew of influencers. Yeah.
We call them the Costco verse. There was everybody in that world. If you guys know AJ and Big Justice, which I'm sure some of you guys do, he was here booming the 100,000 booms that night.
Even Santa Claus was here, and Santa Claus was bringing the boom.
Yes. So there was the real Santa from California, which was pretty funny. Yeah. But we've got a fantastic show tonight. To my left, he is not his first time here at the Essential Guy Talk Show. He's been a longtime supporter. He helped us with one of our first eating challenges, and still one of the funniest cut videos that we have. Yeah, where Mike Ziegler is just piling in the empanadas. But we have Carlos, the empanada guy, over here to my left. Welcome.
All right, thank you for having me.
Oh, we're so happy to have you, man. So you brought some empanadas. You've brought some other things. We're going to learn about all of it.
Yep.
But welcome back. Welcome back to the studio. So first and foremost, Empanada Guy, how many years has it been now?
It's been a long time. It's been a long time. I mean,
20 years?
I would say the idea came up in 2002.
Yeah.
And then it evolved into, by the time I got the truck, it was 2012. So the truck came out in 2012, and that's when everything
exploded. Took off.
So yeah, but it was a long process.
As long as I can remember, I remember seeing that red truck, kind of circulating New Jersey. You too?
Oh yeah. Matter of fact, real quick, can you twist Carlos's mic towards him a little bit? Just the mic itself. Perfect. Matter of fact, Carlos, we were. I don't think there was availability on that day, but my wife and I were this far away from having the Empanada Guy truck at our wedding.
No way.
Yeah, my wife is Hispanic. Yeah,
we're constantly booking.
Yeah, you guys are busy.
Are huge.
And we thought, I'm Italian American, she's Hispanic. We kind of wanted to do like a tour of the two worlds, you know, and have comfort foods. You guys were tied up that day.
Yeah.
So it's okay. My mother-in-law made them by hand, which you have to compete with today.
Yes. Oh boy,
so.
I'm in trouble.
And you know what's funny? Some of his concoctions are like Americanized versions where you have a lot of like just ingredients you wouldn't expect to go in empanadas.
Yeah, he said one today, and I was like, ooh.
Yes. Yeah. All right. So at our table, who's also going to enjoy the empanadas but has his own story to tell, we got John. John, how do you say your last name?
Garofalo.
Garofalo. All right. So John owns a cigar company, a cigar brand.
Yes, sir.
We're going to learn about all of it. I thought it played perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Empanadas, cigars.
Sounds great.
John likes a good whiskey. We'll get into all of that.
PJ came empty-handed, so there's no whiskey.
So
no worries.
So I don't have the whiskey tonight. Yeah, I'm bummed out about that. But, Carlos, you brought a bunch of different flavors of empanadas. How long have you been making empanadas, just in general? Is this a family tradition?
It was just an idea that came up back in 2002. And it was by accident. It was just something I brought to work. I did something else completely different. I was not in culinary world, but I brought some leftover food from Thanksgiving, like we all do.
Sure.
And me and my supervisor, we just started eating because he loves hot spice. And he could take really high level heat. And I just I want to do that. I put it inside the empanada. And we used to do that. So one day I brought leftover empanadas. He never had empanadas before. I don't think he did because he was like, where did you get this from? I've never had this. He was like really curious about it. I said, I grew up, this is like a hot dog or pizza for you.
Yeah, it's like a Latin Hot Pocket.
And,
that's right.
And Gary's a great guy. He's an old buddy of mine. And he goes, listen, I'm from Westwood.
Yeah.
White guys don't get this, And
you said it. I was gonna say it. I was like, "Is he white?"
He's definitely white.
He was totally. But what Gary did for me was he kind of opened a little door and says, "You know what? Gary does have a point. How come a great product like this that we grew up eating,
Isn't
Caribbeans
more familiar.
and all over the place. You know, this country is 40% Italian.
Hispanic,
Hispanic.
Yeah.
So, and how come these urban neighborhoods or whatever suburbs don't have them?
Yeah.
So, you know, I just like it just, you know,
Got your
I was-
wheels turning, right?
Yeah, you know, and I was cool back then because I had a minivan. You know, I drive 45 minutes back home, and I'm thinking, wow, how come? You know, I wonder if I can make that connection. You know.
Yeah.
I said, man, and it just kept on. I said, if I build this product and if I do the product, it's got to be right, and I'm going to brand the hell out of it. I'm going to do it right. The branding came later. Yeah. At first I wanted to do something that was, you know, that it was just not salt, pepper, and
Something you're proud of.
Yeah, it had to have that heat that me and Gary were putting on it.
Yeah.
And I was inspired by another hot sauce company. And that got me like, wow, this would be great. I could eat this all day, you know?
Absolutely.
It's just one of those weird things.
So when you started this, did you start this out of the minivan? Is that how you were
I
delivering
started out of
it?
my garage.
Out of your garage.
In Hillside, New Jersey.
Frying them in your garage. Prepping
I
them in
made
the
them
kitchen.
in the garage, and when I put A and B together, and I said, I could do a business out of this.
Yeah.
If I made an extra $300-$500 a month, I'm a happy guy.
Oh, sure.
That was my thought
Your
at
play
the
money.
time.
Yeah,
I had
true.
a little freezer. Gary goes, hey, I got a used up freezer because I need a freezer now.
Yep,
He goes, I got something, pick it up. It was really, it was a bad freezer, but it worked for the time. And I started cooking and started freezing them.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what it was. I went to work. Right before I went to work, it started at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning. I stopped at this deli, this liquor store deli. It was a Jewish deli liquor store. Now, this goes to show you.
North Jersey?
Yeah. And this was North Helden.
Okay.
It goes to show you where I'm selling.
Yeah.
All the way right next to Patterson. I go up there, I pull in, I get...
Not a Latin influence.
No, whatsoever. And then I go in there, and I said, hey, guy, I saw the owner, because I used to buy coffee and bagel, whatever from him.
Yeah.
I said, hey, give these a shot. Let me know if you like them. Oh, I can sell these. He says, yeah, sell them to whatever you want, but give them a shot. If you like them, I'll sell them to you.
Yeah.
And I just walked away. So by the time I started at 9, did all work, I had within an hour and 45 minutes, I get a phone call from that guy, and I'm in front of Gary, and I'm like, and I said, Gary, he goes, who is it? I said, it's that guy, the guy from the deli.
He's either calling to
He
say you
called me.
poisoned
He
him
loves
or,
the
or
empanadas.
loves them.
And I got a problem. He goes, what? He wants 200 of them every week on Friday.
Wow.
I was like, are you kidding me? And that's how it started.
Well, I think
Wow.
we have to pay it respect by eating it warm, right?
Yeah.
So,
Hold on,
John,
hold
you
on,
go
hold on.
grab. Okay. Can
Go
you
ahead.
pop that back up
Can you
for
pop
us?
that up, Neil? Go ahead. That's all right. We'll cut
It's all
this.
good. Thank you, sir. Oh, it's sliding.
It's Carlos pounding on the table. All right, John. Wait, Neil says, hold on 1 second. All right. It's potluck, John.
All right, yeah.
They're
so
all
we're-
going to be awesome.
We are going to roll the dice.
What's in front of
Yeah.
me?
Give us your options of what we have here, and then we're going to bite into them, and then we're going to know right away what
I
the
would
heck it was.
say the first two in front of you, the darker ones, I would say those are beef, chicken, or Mexican chorizo.
All right, so they're one
Oh,
of
there's
three.
chorizo
And then
here.
the
too.
light ones is definitely, one is lobster and one is guava and cheese.
So there is a completely different bite depending on what the heck it is.
Yeah.
So this is either lobster or guava and cheese.
Okay.
Okay.
Both amazingly tasty,
Yeah,
but very different.
They should
And then there's a chicken one, too, right?
completely different. Hopefully you'll find a chicken in there somewhere.
I don't care what it is. I prefer beef, but
I immediately
Don't
got
be
guava,
shy,
You
John.
got guava
Say
and
what?
cream
guava
Don't be shy.
and cream
Oh, I'm not
cheese.
shy.
which I was hoping you don't get because it's strong.
Uh-huh.
It won't let you enjoy the other flavors.
Well, that was delicious, but yes, I'll put it aside. Wow.
I got a chicken.
Wow, you did get a chicken.
Mm.
All right.
Okay.
I can't tell.
Now, I went in. This is sacrilege to me to go
Did you
within
get mostly bread?
without any
Yeah, I
hot
got a
sauce.
little bit in there. I
But
don't know if that's chicken. I think it's chicken.
for full flavor, you have to go without the hot sauce first.
Yes.
You
Well,
know.
that's what I.
But
I
at
try to
home, I
build
would
it.
be,
Dousing it, right?
Yeah.
All right.
yeah,
so
I got
then this,
chicken. It's incredible. So,
Yeah.
this is either chorizo
Or chicken or beef.
chicken or beef. One of the meats.
One of the meats. Yeah. There you go.
We got some sofrito in here. And the chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heavy.
My goodness.
Yeah, we do everything from,
The beef.
Everything from
great.
scratch.
Mom, I love you, but
Empanada Guy.
these are really good. These are
Absolutely
really
nailed
good.
it.
Please don't ever stop making empanadas for me because I said that. These are really good. I understand why it caught on, though.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a cultural icon for you. I don't know what I mean, Caribbean's a big place.
It is.
But this is a staple in really in the Hispanic community, I think.
Yep.
Especially the Caribbean Hispanic. And, like even for me, like when we go to Puerto Rico, my wife is Puerto Rican and all of our family lives in Puerto Rico.
Yep.
So when we go to Puerto Rico, we make a special trip to the mountains. There's a place called the Two Mangoes. And it's this little mom and pop shop in the mountainside.
Yeah.
Everything's like open air with the glass. And they make the best of best empanadas and mofongo.
Oh,
It's
mofongo, that's
it's like...
I'll do anything for mofongo.
Right?
I literally get on the plane and go
Even
see
though
my
we
dad.
live in such a
That's what
historically...
he said. I would go back there for
Yeah,
mofongo.
we go.
specifically.
Yeah. Even though we live in such an ethnic-rich area here, especially around here in Monmouth County, it's actually really challenging.
You
to
can't
find,
get mofongo here.
or
'Cause-
find really authentic
Yeah.
Latin-based food. Like there's always like some bland American twist on it, and it's
Yeah.
like,
As a
It's,
fellow beard guy, I'm going to say you got a little bit.
oh, that's all right.
empanada on that
We're
side.
keeping it.
I'm there, right? Yeah, you got it.
There you go.
You
Yeah,
gotta
but
look out
it's,
for
keeping
fellow
it.
beards.
It's difficult. The mofongo has to be done fresh, and you can't let it sit for long. Yeah, you're right. There's not a lot of them out there, and
No, it's a consistency thing too. Like you have to get it right. You have to have the good sauce. Same thing with my mother-in-law crushes tostones every time. The consistency level is insane. I don't understand. I make good tostones, but every time the fry is perfect. With them,
It's
right?
an instinct. It's just
Do
like
you
in
sell
your
them
blood.
at all?
sure.
Do you
You
sell
got-
any sides?
yeah, I do tostones. We have tostones.
Right. So then you have to do like an initial fry on them. It's the unripe plantain, the green
Right.
plantain. You do an initial fry, and then after you do the
You
initial
gotta fry it a couple times.
Right. You got to squish them and then fry them again.
Yep.
So you're getting more of the moisture out, and then
Right.
you can crisp up.
But
a
if you don't get the initial fry right, and then you go to squish them with what do you call that? The tostanera?
Yeah, you
Right.
it's a
It's
plate.
like 2 pieces of wood.
and it flattens it.
Right.
If
and-
you don't have it, you just grab a piece of wood.
yeah. But if
make
you don't
do
have
with
the
what you
first
got.
fry right, it's just squish, and then everything just pulls apart into nothing. Yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
it's
So
an
you have
art.
to kind of solidify it perfectly the first time.
Plantains is all over
Yeah.
all over everybody's house in Puerto Rico.
So John, this is your first experience with his empanadas,
They are awesome.
right?
I'm taking the rest of them home.
So they put you in a good mood, man. When I
Yeah.
eat
Yeah, these are
empanadas,
great.
I feel like I'm just a
They're
little
great.
bit happier. They just are easy to eat foods.
Hard to make. Easy.
Hard to make, yes. Hard to make, but so easy to just hold as a little, like I said, like
Yeah.
a Latin hot pocket. It's
Yeah.
what it is, but just filled with high quality ingredients.
The product always been it brought joy to people.
That's
And
what I'm saying,
what you
absolutely.
Yeah.
said is so key because I wanted to turn something into business, but I also have a passion for cooking. I'm not professional. I didn't go to
have
culinary
to be.
school.
Yep.
But it's fun doing it. I didn't look at this as a savior for, it's not for money sake.
Right.
Look, if I make a couple bucks, that'd be great.
It's a
you know?
passion.
It's like, people come up to me, how did you do it? I want to make money. I said, no, you can't chase your dream and chase your money. You got it. You can't serve two masters.
Carlos, maybe that is the reason why God gave you the success that He did because
Maybe.
of
Maybe.
the actual backstory of why it needed to be done versus
Yeah.
for the monetary gratuity
Exactly.
or
Yep.
portion or gratification.
You got to be you can't serve two masters. You really can't. It just doesn't work.
So,
And I've been
Completely agree.
impressed with your
you agree?
work ethic,
Same philosophy here.
with your dedication to this.
Yep.
I have seen the highs and the lows.
Yes.
I've seen you have blowouts on the street, and your
Oh, yeah.
truck had to, be fixed, in a moment's notice. But I've also seen you persevere, and you've been slaving away at trying to get these accomplished for a long time.
Yeah.
What do
So
we got
why don't
here?
you tell
Yeah.
us
Oh,
about
yeah.
what's
What do we got
displayed?
here?
That is like once I realized, this is good. The product is right. The recipe, I mastered the recipe where I thought it was right.
Yes.
I was like, how can I connect to the masses? You know, how can I bring a quality product
Yep.
in somewhere where everybody the population is strong.
Yeah.
And what I always saw in the supermarkets, in my opinion, just wasn't right.
It was just mass-produced, lackluster product.
Exactly.
I completely
and you know,
agree.
without bringing up other brands,
It's why I don't buy empanadas typically.
Exactly.
Because if I want one, I'm spoiled. I love yours.
Yeah.
Why am I going to go and get myself like a half quality version?
Right.
It's an imposter. So
Exactly.
the fact that you now are doing this,
Yeah.
where can people get them? They're
Well,
now.
we finally the phone call came down, and it was Shop Rite. I connected with someone that knows one of the Shop Rite owners in Carteret.
Beautiful.
And that was the first guy out of all the 420 something location that gave me a shot.
Great.
Why? Because he knew my truck and he knew the quality.
Yeah.
So Jonathan was like, you know what? You don't have to bring me no sample. I know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
How fast can we get this product in there? So I was like, okay, how do you guys want to sell it? So we have to do a little a packaging situation and to accommodate their establishment. And it started selling. And from there, he led me to another Shop Rite. And that one started moving up in Tinton Falls. Mm-hmm. And then a year goes by or something like that, and all of a sudden I get a phone call from somebody that deals with international frozen food for Shop Rite.
Yes.
And he's like, listen, I heard a lot about your stuff. What can we do to bring it in? Because to get into a Shop Rite and to get into those big, you need a lot of capital.
Yeah.
And not only you're buying space. And I just wasn't interested in going that route.
Right.
I have enough stress in my life. I said, look, if I sell, I sell. If I don't, I don't. I'm happy where I'm at. But if you come and you're happy with my product, this is how I come. Take me as I am. And
Don't try and change it.
exactly.
Yeah,
I don't want to get into a bidding war with nobody. And if you have space for me, do it. If not, we won't. You know, we're still friends. And one thing led to another, and they started putting it up, and it took about almost a year from the time that I connected with that new in-house supervisor for this frozen department. And it goes to show you how long it takes. So they just finally, within a month and a half ago, they started selling. About a month
Yeah.
ago.
I saw the celebration. I saw you.
It was crazy.
Yeah,
And
I
they
was
just
just gonna
placed
say.
another order yesterday. So it's
Yeah.
like, now it's like opening
for
up.
you.
It's 4, it's 5. Every other week, it's 4 or 5. And today we had a big phone call before I came out here. And the main guys like Carlos, your stuff is moving.
Great.
They're very impressed with it. In fact, the only complaint they have is too much food in it. And I said, well, that's how I make it compared to the other guys.
Yeah.
I want to
Because you
separate.
can have one and you can be okay.
Yeah,
Two
that's
and
the thing.
you know
They're a
you're
solid
very good.
4 ounces.
Yeah.
And that was the debate on the phone. I was like, look, this is how I do it. Can we have another line where they're smaller?
Yeah, mini
Yeah, so now they
empanadas.
want to do mini.
Okay.
And he actually has a co-packer that can do it for us.
Okay.
And mini. So it's great.
As long as you get to have your original product out
Exactly.
there, right? You can do variations.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be a
Absolutely.
cool variation, like a taquito version of it.
Yeah,
Your stuff
they're-
with like a
the
taquito
small,
version of it.
the smaller they are, the harder it is because it's a handmade product.
True.
So
Sure.
you know, again,
Yeah, to try and get
it's
them
tough.
in that
So
little
they have to have
half-moon
special
shape.
machines for that. And we got the right people to do it. They're just fascinated with the dough. The dough that you see there is. So I also sell those in the supermarkets. That dough, compared to any other dough right now, I'm not gonna say their names, but it takes them to school.
Is it a 4-letter word?
Yes, it's that
boy.
quality. And let me tell you,
Sounds like, oh boy.
but I'm
boy.
inspired. I'm inspired by that company because their story is part of my inspiration.
Yeah, their family is incredible.
I love
actually.
that. Everything that they've done.
That's what we grew up on.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
grew up on. So you know what? They have inspired me to do what I do, and I just wanted to pump out a different type of quality.
Of course.
And it's a little bit more money, but when you try it, you'll be
That's
You'll pay for
really
the
all
quality.
it takes. I'm telling
Yeah.
you guys, all it takes just one try.
That's it.
If you try these things, I guarantee you're going to get
I'm a
hooked.
big advocate of what you said too, and a lot of guests that have come through here have done the same thing. So we've had guests that invest
Now
a
I
little
can
bit
imagine.
extra on the front side for quality and quantity
Yeah.
versus profit margin with a skimp.
No. Yeah.
And that only comes back to hurt you. Just like I always say this, I've said it in a bazillion times in shows, like even with pizza, right? Like if you make pizza and your main ingredient is dough, sauce, and cheese, don't
skimp.
buy cheap cheese. It's every time you get,
Yeah.
that's your only product. Like buy the 100% grande or whatever the most expensive is on the chart these days.
It's one of the biggest issues that I have. I do consulting, a lot of consulting with people that are getting into the food truck business, people that want to go co-packing and stuff in the restaurant. And they come in with their ideas, and I love to see that inspiration. I love to see innovation, too.
Yep.
But I also see how people nickel and dime.
Trying to cut corners.
They do the hokey pokey.
Yeah.
I want to do this and I want to make this much money, but I said, there's no negotiation on success.
The longevity isn't going to be there for them. You're going to make your short-term rush money, and then people are going to be like, we're done with this.
Yeah.
You know,
If the
this is
mentality
exactly right.
is how much money can I make, you're never going to make the best product you can
No.
make. If you want to make your great product, and then how much did it cost me to make that?
Well,
And
I've
then you
had
figure it out that
very
way.
wealthy guys, people with a lot of money.
Can you direct them in my direction, please?
Yeah, I'll send them to you, but
Send them here.
they'll probably give you a headache because
They like to read books.
They'll give you a headache. That's what he said.
they want this truck. I said, I don't care. I want this truck with this. I want it with this and this. I said, well, what's the purpose here? You want to build something for your ego, or do you want to fill up your bank
Functional.
account?
Right. You have
Because
to have
I'm
the
not.
flashiest.
I don't do ego. And I'm going to always tell you the truth because you're paying me $350 an hour to show you, to explain
So
to
you do consulting on the trucks and stuff, because I feel like you had a food truck before food trucks were really cool, cool things to have, like food trucks for food trucks. I feel like you guys were like one of the, aside from when I was a young kid, and I say that like you guys are probably like, oh, you're a young kid. When I was younger, like a couple of decades ago, I used to drive tractor trailers and heavy equipment, and I always used to stop in Newark, especially at the port. There's food trucks parked in random locations. Back in the day, they used to be roach coaches before they became like food trucks. That's what we used to call them.
Yep.
We got them a little fancier.
And you find that like in that culture, that Portuguese, Hispanic, a lot of South American. But food trucks were never like the
cool
thing.
thing.
And now 20 years forward, right? You started in 2002. Like you have the recipe figured out because you've been in it for 20 years.
Yeah.
But food trucks are the it thing. And then on top of the fact that you have all of these restaurant locations and I mean at least truck locations in one restaurant or two restaurants? Two
I have
restaurants?
one location, one restaurant, and then I have multiple trucks that are out there.
Right.
And then I sell to a ton of restaurants, probably have 200 of them.
So you have that. And then you think about
and then wholesale in the supermarkets.
the private events industry, right?
Oh,
Because then
that's
you guys
huge.
service that. After weddings, you guys bring the truck. The people buy out the truck.
Yep.
Right? And then you just serve as many as whatever.
The private catering grew tremendously, after COVID happened, and the industry changed completely.
100%.
So everybody's business changed. So we had to all adapt,
Yeah, of course.
We all have to.
I opened up during
And,
COVID.
Yeah. I mean, you could bitch and complain.
We did the
It's
He opened
studio
up
during COVID
during
because I
COVID.
was in live events.
I was too far down the road when
Yeah.
COVID struck, and there was no turning back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
it.
with
So
you
you
on
just
that.
go full bore.
Couldn't turn around and say, nah, maybe not.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too far down the road.
So we had to change. So we had to dedicate more into. There was private coming in.
Yeah.
So our email started booking up. I was like, wow. And then the corporations, the Amazons,
Yep.
all those big companies started like ordering and feeding, so we could feed their employees.
Yep.
So another door, one door closes, another one opens.
Of course.
Just got to be adaptable.
The
right?
conventional private event changed a lot, right? And people started to look for unorthodox venues or, like distribution hubs, like you're talking about, like Amazon are looking at how do we have a employee appreciation day. Oh, we'll bring in the Mr. Softy truck and we'll bring in the empanada guy, and then everybody can go outside and eat that and then go back to work.
Exactly.
Even in our industry, a big thing has been now mobile lounges.
Yeah.
Mobile cigar lounges have
absolutely.
become a thing. It's actually on our radar for something down the
Yeah,
road.
I saw.
but it's
I actually. I'm
become
glad
a
you
big
brought
thing.
that
That's-
up.
that's
I
a
did
cool
see
idea.
a food truck, but a truck that served cigars.
Yep.
Yeah. Mobile
Awesome.
food truck.
Yeah.
Cigar.
All right, so
I'm sorry. Go
mobile
ahead.
cigar
No, go
truck.
ahead.
So that segue is perfect because
This way.
John's over here enjoying your food.
I did.
Do you want more?
I can eat the dish. But
Give him all.
I
give him
bet
all.
you.
I
I
can't.
bet you
I know
what.
the guy. Don't worry. We'll get you.
I
some.
bet
know a
you
guy?
what John would want with an empanada right now would be one of those cigars that are sitting.
Well, I
on
wouldn't.
the
I don't
table.
know that I'm a big eater and smoker.
You
at
don't
the
wanna
same
do it
time.
simultaneously.
I'll
Drinker.
smoke before a drink. Yes.
Drink.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I would definitely like a
Drink and
whiskey
smoke
at this
for
time.
sure.
But to my right, we have John Garofalo.
Hey,
Married
thanks
to
for having me.
Janine Garofalo.
And
No, hardly.
and
tell my
John
wife.
is a serial entrepreneur,
I
right?
am.
That's the best way to describe
Not
what you
serial
do.
killer.
You're one
Not
of
serial
those, huh?
killer.
I am. Yeah.
How many businesses do you have? 122?
Currently, 4.
Oh, okay. Fair
4.
enough.
So yeah. So,
But John, your main focus right now is the cigars in front of you.
Yeah, yeah, I'm
and
a
the
cigar
cigar
guy.
shop. So where is the shop?
Yep. So I started, and I really appreciated hearing about you because there are a lot of. I mean, I don't know that you could get any further away than empanadas and cigars, but
Sure.
philosophically, what we're all about is a lot of what you talked about, right? It's about
Yeah.
passion. So I started in this business accidentally. I was a cigar guy and a hobbyist for a number of years, and got to rub elbows with a lot of people in the industry, and really got a sense that there was this communal aspect. A brotherhood, now a sisterhood within the cigar culture.
Yep.
Got out of a business venture that sold the business off and needed something to do. My wife was like, "Yeah, you're not sitting around.
Get out of the house.
Do
Get out of the house,
Do
John.
something for God's sake."
Sure,
Please.
sure.
Decided to open up a store in the area. Obviously, ironically, my store here is about 2 miles from this studio, which
Hilarious.
It's like a baseball
Hilarious.
throw
I didn't
almost.
know you
I would
existed.
say it's less than 2 miles.
it is less
actually.
than 2 miles.
Yeah.
It is.
It's the biggest
It's
little
probably
world
about
ever.
a mile.
Yeah,
It's
he
probably
came
about a
walking
mile.
in and he was like, "Can you believe that my space is just
I
right
couldn't
out
believe it. So, but yeah, so started. The plan for the business was in 2019. Before anybody even knew the word COVID existed.
Right.
Established a relationship with a factory in Nicaragua to do what was then a house brand cigar. Opened up in the summer of 20, literally in the throes of COVID. We have a store and a lounge. Not long after that, I started my own cigar company, Nebis Tabac, and I had visions of grandeur there. As a former corporate guy, I kind of am wired in this faster, more and more, bigger, faster, more and more, you know. And the reason why I got into this business was because I love it. And I'm, even in the introduction of my book, which we'll get to, I have this kind of phrase that sticks with me. I'm either all in or I'm not in at all.
Yeah.
So if I'm in with my heart and my head. The money is...
It's probably the same feeling you'll
The money
have
comes the
everyone
same...
here at the table.
Yeah, I
Same
mean, it's
thing.
just... Money is important, but it's not the driver, right?
Right.
It's the driver is to... I wanted to be part of the community. I wanted to embrace... I had never been in retail before. It was really
Sure.
an eye-opener for me. We grew into a nice business. We've been at it now for a little over 4 years. We were voted best cigar shop at the Jersey Shore, which was really wonderful. Our cigar company, Nebis Tabac, when it was first started, was going to be the next great cigar that you were going to see on people's shelves.
Yeah.
And I quickly pivoted away from that because I realized that there were just so many boutique cigar manufacturers out there.
Sure.
And the real value was its place as our house brand, our house cigar. So what that's allowing me to do now is scale. We're going to be opening up a couple more stores.
Awesome.
And then in Nebis Tabac, just as a bit of a sidebar, an intro into the book, I'm a big history buff. I like to read. I like to learn about history. I like the origin of how things came to be. Mm-hmm. And my blends in my cigar company all have kind of a historic place in them, whether it's the Ancient Orient or the 18th century, and we can talk about that if you like. And through that, I started to do some research and got into the kind of the history of cigars, and that led me to writing. And
Let's see the book.
yeah, so the
called-
book literally is just out.
This is just going to show your need to keep doing. Because
Yeah, I
you
don't
just
sit
said
still.
the cigars aren't enough. the shop is not enough.
Yeah.
I need to pour out my heart into a book.
So this
too.
is the
So,
book.
yeah,
The,
so
the
the
book is
time-
called The Time Traveler's Guide to Cigar Culture.
Okay.
It's in pre-order phase right now.
Does it have pictures? It does. Okay, so I can
It
read
has
it.
a lot of
Yeah.
pictures. Yes.
Pop-up book would have been even better, right?
Yeah, it had to be a bit of
great.
a coffee table book.
Nice cover.
Thank you.
Gorgeous.
Nice.
Yeah, very nice cover. Where
Props
can people get this book?
So it's available in my store in Shrewsbury.
Okay.
It is also available online at johngarofalo.com.
You said it's pre-orders right now. When do you expect?
The books should land. The first batch of books should land probably in the next week.
Oh wow, it's that quick now.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah,
cool.
I waited to do
What
the press
place is
release
that?
until I knew the
That
books
is
were.
William
It is
Granger
a very
Cigars.
aesthetically pleasing book. Like it's the perfect colorscape for me. It's very
Yeah,
manly.
I
You know
mean-
what I
Thank you.
mean? Like
Yeah.
It speaks to putting
a
it
classy,
on your
right?
Yeah.
It's a coffee table kind of
coffee
a
book.
table,
Yeah, it's a classy book.
having
Yeah.
a drink, having a cigar.
And we
Just-
toyed with the whole the version of this, but it's not. It's
It just
really
doesn't
not
do it
something.
justice,
no,
right?
it doesn't.
Did you see my humidor up there?
I did. That was one of the first things I
pretty
noticed.
fancy,
by the way.
huh?
I
Isn't
like
cool?
it. I like it.
We got class here,
It's
John.
all good, man. It's all good. So yeah, the book was, it's funny. We were chatting before we went on online here. The book took about a year and a half to do, and everybody says to me, "Oh my God, John, like you got it done in a year and a half." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. It took a while." They're like, "No, that's fast. That's I'm
Yeah.
like I wanted it done in 6 months."
start to
but-
finish on a book in a year and a half.
And you wrote it yourself. You didn't hire a ghostwriter? Or
I had somebody work with me. Did not have a
Great.
ghostwriter. I had somebody work with me on the content of the book.
Sure.
I had some help with the imagery. We did a lot also
Great-
with
great
AI.
shots,
Thank
great
you.
pictures.
There's some AI generated stuff. So if you go on our website,
It's okay,
at
that's
Nevis
legal.
Tobacco- yeah, yeah. It's
absolutely.
not. Everything's been
It's great.
it's all
everything's been
about a vibe,
copyrighted
and
and
you're definitely
it's-
getting.
we've not broken
I
any
like this.
laws or pissed anybody off. We've
This
gotten all the
book
boxes checked. But
would be geared at somebody like me, right? Like I just recently, within the last year, have developed the appreciation for cigars.
Yep.
Okay.
I never really got it before. I was a smoker,
Right.
for a great length of time.
Yep.
And I have in our other business, we have a entertainer that is an avid cigar smoker.
Okay.
Okay, like he is like crazy about it.
Would you
And
like to endorse my cigars?
yeah, 100%. He'd be mighty jealous to see this spread right now.
he can have them.
And then he explained it to me. He's like, there's this whole thing about it and the way it smokes and then how it opens up
Correct.
flavors on things.
Correct.
And I was like, wait, what? Cigars usually smell terrible. There's no way. Blah, blah, blah. No. Was I ever standard corrected this year by having some drinks? We did that Prime 13 event where it was like steak and cigars.
So we do a private label cigar for Prime 13.
Okay.
Do you
So you know
really?
Chad already.
There's
so
another
their cigar at the steakhouse we've done for them. We
Oh,
do a
that's
fair amount of
fantastic.
private label.
Yeah, we had Chad on the show
Yeah, so
about
Chad's a
4
friend.
or 5 months
I
ago.
know Chad actually as a former Giant season. I'm still a Giant
Giant
season
season
ticket
ticket.
holder, but we used to tailgate together and go to Giant games.
Nice.
How many
Look at
generations
that.
have you had season tickets for now?
I'm a first generation.
Oh,
season
you're first.
ticket
You're not
holder.
generational.
No,
Okay.
no, I was on a waiting list for 20 years.
30 years. I was
Yeah.
going to say 3 decades.
Got the call when they built a new stadium.
And he said if they don't get rid of Danny Dimes, you might not be back, right?
Oh,
Yeah, but it's interesting that you mentioned about the cigar because, and we've talked about this on TikTok and some other places that, I'm a big believer in that a cigar is an experiential thing.
It is.
Yeah, of
You
course.
know, a cigar is not something that you just smoke. It's something, whether you're doing it on your own as a bit of a cathartic thing or
Like
a
a
bit of a
wind down.
decompression
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
or a social
Social,
thing. Like
yeah.
I tend to be more of a social smoker only because I'm constantly trying cigars all day long and I don't smoke a
course.
lot when I'm by myself.
Yeah.
But it's very much an experiential thing. And even in the book, we talk about the genesis of how cigars started in our culture as a working man's thing. And then it became an instrumental tool in Hollywood and film and TV and then sports. And so the cigar has become symbolic, but it's also been a really interesting thing in terms of the economics of the country. It's really been quite fascinating. So I've really enjoyed, and I continue to enjoy being in this business. And I actually love being a retailer because I love talking to
Yeah,
people
that's
and meeting
great.
with people.
You found your passion.
Sharing your expertise, like that would be huge for somebody like me that walked into your shop and like, hey, look, I know I like a dessert cigar.
Yep.
Something a little bit, darker.
Yep.
And I don't really have, a huge amount of experience
And
with it.
that's
I'll
great.
just
We love
take a
customers
cigar
like that.
from whatever anybody gives me, and
Yep.
I would never take a Phillies blunt and smoke that straight, but I'll take a cigar and then
Yep.
and then be like, oh, well, look out for these keynotes and stuff like this, and team it up with that.
For sure. And as a retailer, that's another thing that we did before we opened was we went and looked at the competition, and it was very common in our space on the retail side where somebody would walk into a premium cigar store like ours, and there'd be some old guy sitting behind the counter and be like, yeah, the Umer's over there, help yourself. You know?
Yeah.
For us, we're tobacconists, and we take a lot of pride. That includes my entire team, and we really make a point of getting to know the customer, right? Because I have 750 different cigars in my humidor. So what size, what shape, what strength, what flavor? Do you like strong? Do you like medium? Do you like mild? And we take them on the journey, and we try to get to know them, because then, hey, you like this? Let's try this. Let's try that. It's become, for us, customer service is really important. And so I come from one of my past lives. I was in the software world, and I come from a small company called Salesforce. For a while,
Small company.
small little company. I didn't work for sales. I worked for a part of their kind of family of companies, but for them, everything was about the customer experience.
Yeah.
And for me, that always resonated when I was with them, and I take that down with me into my companies now. So whether you're buying my cigars through online, and by the way, they're not sold in any other store but mine.
Okay.
But they are sold online. So at nebistobac.com you can buy them. But for us, it's about the experience of the customer.
Yeah, that's great. Carlos, do you smoke cigars?
Yes, I do.
You do. You're known
I'm
to
gonna
enjoy
I
trade
love
some.
cigar. I'm a big cigar freak.
I'm going to trade you some for some empanadas before I leave.
Definitely, we got a deal going. We will make a deal. But you brought up something that I was always frustrated when I go to cigar places.
Sure.
Big thing, and especially since we also live in Florida. There's cigar places everywhere. They're all nice, looking good, smell good. But you walk in there, a guy like me, I don't know all the brands.
That's right.
I didn't know that the Dominican seed is lighter than Nicaragua seeds. I don't know if you can correct me on that. I'm not sure. I know that the Nicaragua is a little stronger.
So they have everything. So the thing about cigars is that it's an organic product, right?
Right.
So a cigar is comprised of three primary components.
Okay.
A wrapper, a binder, and a filler. So the wrapper is on the outside, the filler is in the middle, and a binder is the tobacco that marries the two together, right?
Okay.
Well, the wrapper has the most flavor, has about 65% of the flavor in a cigar. So what people don't understand is that you could take the same seed and grow it in Havana, in the Dominican, in Nicaragua, in Honduras, in Costa Rica, in Peru,
Right.
in Mexico. These are all places that grow tobacco that we make cigars from.
Sure.
But it'll all taste different because of the soil,
soil,
because of the
right.
climate,
Yeah.
because of the rain.
Yeah.
So the stronger cigars tend to be have something. It's called ligero. Ligero is usually the leaves at the top of the plant that get the most sun. And when a grower is trying to get a stronger cigar, if let's say the tobacco plant is vertical like this, they will prime off leaves in the middle to make sure a lot of the nutrients get to the top leaves. They get the most sun, therefore they get stronger. So it's and listen, as a blender, I'm a novice. I'm an absolute novice, and I love learning. So like when I go to Nicaragua and we blend, and I can't smoke for 4 days when I get home because I need to detox. But it's really an experience because it's so fascinating to me that what you think is strong or what you think is not, it always varies.
You see, those are the things that as a customer I was looking for, and I ended up buying a couple of them, and some of them were stronger than the other, and
You hate
but
when you
it's-
don't
it's-
get that education before you
yeah,
buy,
but
right?
it's important because they're not cheap,
And most
you're going to
people-
spend some
well,
money.
that's
You
the
want to
thing.
get good stuff.
You're not,
right?
and even a pack of cigarettes. I mean, a pack of cigarettes is a
Bazillion
5-minute
dollars,
smokes, and
yeah.
they're heavily taxed and a lot of money. But a good cigar is,
Yeah.
you're not going to buy a good cigar for $3, $4, $5.
No, it's like buying a bottle of wine.
Correct.
And you should treat it with the same interest that you treat a nice bottle of wine.
And interestingly, though, so like when you talk about a bottle of wine and you look at the window dressing on a bottle of wine,
Sure.
right? So how many times, if you're married or if you're with a partner, does somebody buy a bottle of wine that they like the way
because
that
they
the
got
label
the label
looks,
is
Oh,
right?
yeah,
So,
it's all about
100%.
labels.
so there is that whole aesthetic appeal
Sure,
to it as
sure.
well. So for us, it's really a balance of trying to find all of the above.
I love hearing you talk about it because I'm a brewer. I come from a background of head brewing craft beer.
Nice.
And to hear you talk about cigars and you
Yeah.
talk about cooking, it's the same way I feel when I'm making a recipe and
I feel
brewing
really
beer.
left out. Actually,
You like eating
Without
the
you,
I
food.
we're
like
not
eating the
here.
food, which I'm on
So-
a diet, by the way, guys.
Yeah,
In case
and
I
I
never
am
told
too,
everybody.
so I'm celebrating. I've had an empanada and a half. I'm happy. But yeah, just the thought process that goes into why I'm making the recipe I'm making,
For sure.
the potency of the different ingredients and balance. Balance is so important in food and in cigars.
Yep.
You know, so I mean, it's exciting to see somebody who loves what they do. And
We do.
you love what you're doing, and
Yeah.
it clearly shows because you fought
Yeah.
so hard to get those in stores, and now they're there.
And they're good.
And
The
they're
empanadas are really
amazingly
good,
good.
Carlos. They
Thank
really
you.
are, man.
Yeah,
I mean, we're not telling you anything you don't already know. You wouldn't be
No.
successful.
That's right.
So we're done with you. Back to the cigars.
But John, I
Let me
want
take that empanada while I'm here.
John, I want to
Let me
have a
see
little.
how I can get my own cigar over here.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, no, I want to have a little get together at your spot. I would love to
Yeah,
have a little, just a guys' night out lounge.
You
Sure.
can bring the
thing.
cameras, man. We could
We
do
can bring.
Yeah,
we'll do
I'd
that.
love to. I was-
We'll bring
We have a
camera.
lounge. So
I was hoping
You can
you'd say
smoke
that.
in cigars. Cigar shops are grandfathered into the. Am I correct? You're making a
You're
face, so
invited.
you didn't make
Sure.
that cut.
Have a cigar.
Well,
with
yeah.
Yeah.
So smoke. So let's backtrack a minute. So I'm scaling and going to be opening up 2 more stores
Okay.
next year, and I'm having a hell of a time finding locations.
Yeah. Wow.
Not that there aren't locations available,
Right.
but nobody wants tobacco.
Okay.
right? And by the way, we tell them up front, we're not vape, we're not cannabis, we are just premium cigars and pipes.
The landlord or the
You're
township?
talking about on a
I'm
rental
talking about
basis?
the landlord first, then
Yeah.
the town secondly.
Really?
Yeah, so when we opened in Shrewsbury, there were some hurdles to overcome
Yeah.
to have smoking on premise. So
Come on.
there is
Who
a
is this guy? Who brought this guy? Right here?
hello, ma.
You know what's funny? That was probably my
Ma!
daughter calling me on
Bring down the
video.
meatloaf. All right, John. Sorry for
No,
the
it's
TJ's
all
rude
good, man.
interruption.
Yeah, so there's a law in our industry anyway that if your business is selling 50% or more of premium cigars on is more than 50% of your business, you can provide what is deemed a sampling space,
Right, like a smoke
in
room.
your space. You can't have technically a lounge that's zoned a little differently. So we call it our sampling room,
Okay.
but it is
It's a lot.
I didn't mean
It's
to
a-
pick a
it's-
scab
it's-
off a
I
sore
didn't say it,
subject
hold
here.
on. I didn't say
It's ironic too because if you think back, and I'm not telling you guys anything you don't know because we're all dinosaurs at this table, but smoking was such a prevalent thing for forever. And then even into the 90s, they made all of these restaurants
It's in the
and
book, by the way.
businesses. Is it?
It's in the book.
They made them all outfit their locations with these smoke eaters, these smoke eater units that were very expensive for them to purchase,
Yep.
but were required to have. Then I think within like a year or two, and I could be off in my timing, but within a year or two of that, they passed this Clean Air Act thing. So now, as a business owner, you invested this money into the smoke eating system, and then they pulled the rug out from everybody.
Wow.
But
Tobacco's the devil. We have a kind of a phrase.
Yeah.
We say that tobacco is the devil. But you know what? They love the taxes I pay. And
Of course
I
they do.
pay a lot.
Sure.
It's a highly taxed industry, but we survive. And we talked about adapting, right? I mean, you have to adapt to your environment, whether it was COVID or taxes or
Yeah.
a noisy neighbor or whatever. You adapt, you adjust your sales, and you come at it from a different angle. And as long as you say that I'm not going to fail,
Yeah.
we're not going to fail.
You don't give yourself
We're
that
not gonna
option,
fail.
right?
Yeah.
So, have you ever participated in the Atlantic City Cigar Social?
So I do not. I have lots of friends that go, and I
Yeah.
have several colleagues that go. We do not participate in it primarily because it's not really a place like. Let me back up. So I have a kind of a philosophy, whether it's right or wrong. I personally believe that no one will drive more than 25 or 30 minutes to buy a cigar.
So you're saying, the advertisement's not going to work for you.
Yeah, it
because
doesn't. I
it's
mean,
way up
they probably, if there's 1,000 people there, which I know they didn't have that, but I would say 5% of whoever's there might be considered my client.
Yeah.
So for me to invest time and money, and it's not advantageous for us logistically.
Yeah.
Now, I will
Yeah.
tell you that we're actually working on a project here in Monmouth County, and so there's something that is in the cigar circles called the Big Smoke. And the Big Smoke is a place where it's not an industry thing, but it's a customer thing where people get together and they congregate and they smoke and they share ideas. We're actually talking about doing something called the Little Smoke here in Monmouth County.
Okay.
And we're trying to do it to raise money for a couple of charities locally.
Okay.
And that's been the sticky wicket because I have to set up a 501(c) and I have to set a whole different banking thing and whatever. But that's our goal. And that's where we hope to be
Very
in the next
cool.
year or so.
Well, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
a good idea.
That's interesting too. I don't, not that I disagree with your perspective, but interesting to me that you have that. I understand your mindset,
Time is valuable. So
but
he's just trying
also
to
at the
think
same
marketing.
time, and I'm not disagreeing with your methodology by any means, but
There's no
I
right or
find
wrong
it
answer.
I
It's
find it
just-
interesting knowing that you do online sales. That you don't find that would be something that's, and again, that just may not be your market, like, and this is no slam against South Jersey, but as anybody that's from Jersey knows this, and this isn't
Further
applied
south
to
you
the
go.
masses here, so I don't want to offend anybody because I know we live in offensive times, but South Jersey, Central Jersey, North Jersey, there tends to be a sway in affluence, right? And I'm not saying that there's not affluent people in South Jersey that have beautiful summer homes and LBI and everywhere else in Ocean City. I'm just saying that you find a more in-depth population of affluence.
Yep.
The further north that you go, closer to the
So
cities,
the online thing, if I were to look at what's interesting about our location here in Monmouth County is that if you drew a 10-mile circle around my store, there are 8 other cigar shops within that space. So the competition is significant.
Sure. That's
a lot.
Significant. And that doesn't scare me. I think competition is good.
Yeah.
Every
Healthy.
shop has its own kind of cultural DNA. Certain people go to certain places because of certain whatever, and that's great.
I think it breeds a community too.
But for sure, But the real enemy, the enemy to brick and mortar in my business
is online.
Is the internet, of
Yeah.
course.
So it's interesting that you mentioned, online. So if you were to go to my website and buy them online, if you're checking out as John Smith from so-and-so, New Jersey, you are instructed to call my store.
Okay.
And I sell them to you through my store. I
Okay.
do not sell any in-state.
That makes sense. It's
So
like a
the
blackout
only-
region.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So the only online business is done through out of state.
Okay.
And then anybody from New Jersey is directed to call us, and then we process the order and send it to them
You
through that.
totally answered my question
Yeah,
as
that-
to
I-
why
that's where
that
you were
is.
going. That's great.
And listen, like internet shopping is great and everything, right? But I feel like, and in today's generation, again, not a slam on anybody, I feel like they don't realize that they're actually robbing themselves of an experience, right? There's so much experience
sure.
that they don't get to do anymore. For sure. And I feel like going into a cigar shop and it's dimly lit and have all these cigars, these cool displays, that's all part of the experience,
So
right?
it's-
Like,
we talked about the experiential thing of smoking a cigar, but there's also an experience in buying a cigar.
Yeah,
so
shopping
when
for
you
one.
walk into my humidor, the first thing you notice, you notice 2 things immediately. A, it's kind of warm and a little humid in there because we
Smells
keep
great.
it, and it smells awesome, right? So you get that olfactory effect, and it's funny. I had a gentleman, a new hire of mine recently, and he's great. He's a great guy. We love him, and all the guys on my team are awesome. The first day he came to work, he was wearing cologne, and I said to him, "Listen, no bueno. I mean, like next time you come,
The place shines.
that means
you
no
know.
good, by the way, Carlos, in case you didn't know.
I want to
Yes,
smell
yes.
this.
You're telling him
I
what
want to
bueno
smell this.
means.
I don't want to smell you.
Yeah,
exactly.
He totally got it.
Yeah.
But there's that experience that online you don't get.
Yeah.
You get
Click
to
a
touch
mouse.
it.
Yeah.
You get to smell it. It's
If you're buying toilet paper, you don't need the experience.
Yeah.
If
And
you're buying
and this is a
type
heavily
of-
commoditized product, just like
Yeah.
everything else is.
Right.
Sadly, I'll get guys all the time that'll say, well, you're selling this for X. I can buy it
Yeah.
for X minus whatever. Can you match my price? No, I can't.
He's absolutely right because I was the one that I'm that customer that used to order online.
Yep.
We all were.
And especially back in the
As
days.
a customer, I was.
JR back in the days or whatever, and they're not around
There's
anymore.
no, yeah, they are.
They are because
Sure
I
they
drive
are.
through there all the time. I can't find them in North Carolina.
The J&R now is leafcigaremporium.com. No.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, we know exactly where that is.
Nice.
You'll
But
find
I was that
Salisbury
guy.
Avenue.
I got the cases, and I was like, yeah, it was good, but there's nothing than to go there physically.
Yeah.
And we give a lot back
walk
into
in
the
there.
community too. We're big believers in you don't give with an open hand. We like to support, like for us, we're continually supporting our local PD and our local fire departments because they keep my business safe.
Well, as a Tinton Falls resident, I appreciate you for that.
Yeah,
I live down the street too.
Yeah,
I don't just work here. So
yeah, no, I live in Monmouth County, so I live in Navesink, so it's a give to get mentality, but you don't give expecting to get. Like if I get, great. If I don't get, that's okay too. That's why I said there was a lot of philosophy, and it wasn't driven by the dollar. It was. I went through a lot of different businesses in my life, and this is the next chapter.
Yeah.
hence the success.
Yeah, and everything I do, like I said, I'm either all in or I'm not in at all. I mean, I'm a musician. I do a lot of things. So
I tell you what, man, lifting that type of business after what we've been through.
Yep.
I mean,
It's been
commend you
terrible
on
for
that.
that.
I mean,
Likewise.
people still need to eat, but
Right.
Cigar, and he made it through.
Yeah,
You're
it's a
alive
luxury
today.
spend. It's a luxury
it's a
spend.
total luxury.
It is an absolute luxury
did.
spend,
Luxury
but
spend.
when people are
did it
stressed,
right.
they need their decompression. They need
Yes.
their time to
For sure.
socialize.
For sure.
And food as well as cigars, I look at them like a celebratory type thing.
Yep.
A decompression. A lot
Social
of times
thing,
when
yep.
you're stressed, you want something delicious to
Yeah.
just relax you at the end of the night.
Yeah.
Right? It's a social thing to be able to kind of turn somebody
I
on
like to mow
do-
my lawn with a cigar hanging out of my mouth. I'm
Sure,
not going
why
to lie to
wouldn't
you. I'm riding on my tractor.
So we call in our industry we call those yard gars.
yeah,
Call those
you know.
yard gars, and that would not be considered an aficionado thing. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, look, to each his own. We don't judge. It's not,
But my thing is, you made it through.
a line that we
Yeah.
say to all our customers in the store when they see how much we have is, it's like, that's why Baskin Robbins has 32 flavors, right?
Yeah.
We've got something for everybody.
Yeah.
You want to spend $40 on a cigar? I have something. You
Yeah,
want to spend
yeah.
$4 on a cigar? I have that too.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I would smoke the $4 cigar while mowing the lawn and
course
keep
you
the
would.
$40 cigar
course you
for
would.
a nice glass of bourbon.
Yes,
course you would.
You know,
exactly. And there's a time and a place
yeah.
for it, right?
That's exactly right.
If I was drinking a $400 bottle of bourbon while I'm cutting my lawn, everybody would look at me like I'm
be like this.
an idiot.
Do you do
Yeah,
that?
I mean, that
Do you
too.
do that?
$200.
Can we hang out?
Yeah. Yes.
Let me know what time I got to be over.
All right. So wait. Go ahead. I wanted
no.
to ask him one more
Please
cigar
do.
question
Please
as I'm
do.
dropping my phone.
Sure. Yeah,
All right.
please
So
do.
you have quite the array of cigars here.
So these are just our cigars from my company.
Okay. So aside from just your own brand,
Yep.
you do carry other cigars in your humidor, obviously.
You probably have another 50 to 60 brands, and I have, like I mentioned, I have 750 different cigars in my
That's a
humidor.
lot. That's
Yeah.
a lot.
So this
Can
is
you name each one? Okay, go.
Yes.
I pretty much I probably
Bingo.
could.
I'm sure you could.
So these are Inebis Tabac's 10 blends, and this comes in only that size. This comes in 2 sizes. This comes in 3 sizes. This comes in 3 sizes. This comes in 5 sizes. So I have probably in my humidor, I probably have 33 different iterations of these 10 cigars.
Okay.
what
And
would you
all
say
of-
your price point is on your cigars?
So our cigars, I have only one cigar that is more than $10.
Wow.
only
Okay.
one-
So
and
it's
again-
very
affordable.
affordable.
And we have not raised our prices since we've opened. So
That's awesome.
because we control the cost. So
Right.
it's a very strong brand. I have a lot of fun with the blending. I also have a lot of fun with the naming. I have a core line that I named after my 3 kids.
That's awesome.
So yeah, we have a lot of fun with
And
it. I mean,
so people aren't confused. You do not hand roll these. These are already done.
you don't want to
Right.
eat, you don't want to smoke anything I roll.
Right. Because there is also that element to a cigar too. Like there is another
Correct.
Game in town here that's what they specialize
For sure.
in, right? They
Yeah,
do the hand rolling,
and they
right
do
in front
they do
of
a
you, and
formidable
there's like
job. They are a really good company. So I would consider our store, at least my store, and forget my tobacco company. I think my store is what I would call as a hybrid,
Yeah.
in the sense that there are those stores nearby and afar who have their own brand and they make their own custom cigars, and then there are retailers that carry all of the major brands from Padron and Davidoff to Fuente and here and there. And I'm in between because I have a strong brand that is mine, and I sell all those
other stuff as well. Is there white labeling in this industry at all? Does anybody do any kind of like white labeling for
Like
anybody?
private label?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like Prime 13 is a good example,
Okay.
right? So we do cigars for Chad and his place. I have probably 3 or 4 other restaurants that I do cigars for. We did a great 125th anniversary cigar for Hollywood Country Club in Deal.
Yeah, no shit, yeah.
We do a fair amount of weddings, and so Shrewsbury PBA did an event.
Yeah, like a giveaway at a wedding. That's really
John, have
cool.
we never met before? Did we just meet at an event not too long ago at Mallard Island? Is that possible?
I don't think so.
That
I
wasn't
would
you?
have remembered that.
Yeah, I felt like it was you, but it wasn't you, I guess.
America's
There's
Most
another
Wanted.
another
That's what I
gentleman
tell
that looks
people.
just like you.
Yeah, you better watch out.
Yeah.
All right, so I definitely want to do a get together at your lounge. I
Yeah,
would
man, that'd
love
be
to
fun.
check it out. I want to see what the
I
vibe
have to
is.
put all
in
my
there.
customers on good behavior.
Yeah.
Listen.
You don't have to bring empanadas, Carlos, but you do have to bring bourbon.
Bourbon?
Yeah.
He has to bring. I'm going to bring the bourbon.
Shut your mouth.
All right, we will bring the bourbon. I'll bring.
We
I'll
would.
bring
I
the
would love to do things. I would love
Yeah,
to do a lot.
that'd be
Let's do
great.
it.
We're right down the
Let's do
street.
it. Yeah, that'd be
We
nice.
get great footage of it. It'd be an incredible experience,
Yep.
you know, and then you can
Yep.
do whatever you want with it.
And that'll
from
be a
there.
good advertisement too, so people
Yeah.
can see what the vibe is like. Because a lot of people have no idea just how cool it can be to go to a lounge and just hang and socialize and talk
I can
and
imagine.
learn a ton about cigars. So
And don't we need that now?
yes,
Don't we need to get out?
We need
We
to
do.
get
Amen,
out,
man.
socialize, kind of come together, even if we're different in our views and things, and just come and enjoy.
Yep.
So we
a
have
cigar together.
we have a kind of a. I'm not allowed. Can I use salty language?
Yeah, of
on
course.
this?
yeah.
So we have our guys kind of tease about John's 2 rules of the lounge. So I'm not my lounges are not clubs. I don't charge memberships. I
Yep.
don't have lockers. But they joke about John's 2 rules of the lounge is A, buy a cigar, and B, don't be an asshole.
Don't be a dick.
Those
I
are
was gonna
two
say,
great.
don't be a dick.
Those
Same
are two
thing.
great
Don't be an
rules.
asshole.
That's
Yeah.
it.
And if you break rule number 1, you automatically break rule number 2.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
of course.
I'm ready. So let's
Yeah,
set
let's
it
set
up,
it up
James.
after we finish recording.
Let's set it up,
something
Carlos.
There you go. That'd be fun.
Oh, I gotta give you guys something.
What do you have to give?
You said 2X.
I am
XL?
a 2X.
Oh, I'm an XL guy.
Yes, I knew
You
it.
brought
There you
swag?
go. This one's for you.
swag?
I got you 2 different completely one.
Nice.
Look at
It's got
that.
my picture on
Here,
the front.
have some stickers, too,
How
while
did you
you're
get
at
my
it.
picture though, Carlos? And put it on a shirt.
I'm a little dark on that one. I told the guy I was in Florida. That's the Florida version.
That's
okay.
awesome. Thank you, Carlos.
That's great.
That's awesome.
I gotta charge you royalties for this.
Oh my
Every
god.
time you wear.
Every time.
All right. So once again, Carlos from the Empanada Guy. Now you can get them in stores and Shop Rites. Soon to
Yep.
be literally everywhere.
You said Shop Rite in
Let's
Tin
see.
Falls?
Awesome, man.
Shop
Right?
Right in Tin
Shop
Falls.
Rite in Tin Falls? Down
well,
the street?
No. They decided to start somewhere in Norwich, Connecticut, and Monkisco, New York.
Whatever.
Just around
right?
the corner.
Well,
Yeah,
they know the
just around.
demographics.
That's the-
Right
I
down
guess.
the street.
Yeah, and they're adding 5 more. I don't know. So I'll be
Let 'em
honest.
keep
Just
adding,
go to
right?
the
Just
Empanada
keep
Guy
buying.
webpage and
Yeah.
we
You're here,
we
so
update
just
it.
like he said, you don't order them online. You're here, so
Yeah.
go to the truck.
Just go to
get
the
them from the
freehold.
source,
Or have the truck come to you?
or have the
Yeah,
truck come.
exactly.
To you.
We could
Yeah.
do that.
And
We
then
part-
John, pleasure.
Thanks so much, guys.
Yeah, John.
The education's just starting. I want to learn so
Yeah,
much.
we're gonna
Yeah.
come for a night.
Happy to come back anytime.
Once
Yeah.
you said the olfactory senses and smelling it, it just made me already smell it, and I wanted to get there and see what
I
it's
actually
all
do a
about.
class on how to smoke a cigar because a
There
lot
you
of
go.
people don't even know how to
See?
do
I
it.
want to take a
good.
class.
No, I think I slobber all over it. I tend to slobber all over it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay.
I tend to slobber.
good to know.
I'm not great at cutting it.
There's an
You
art
know,
to that too.
I get the lighting portion.
Can't take this guy anywhere.
I know that. Yeah, we'll do a hard pour on a beer.
Yeah, oh my God. He did a hard pour on an Icarus beer, and it just flowed all over the place.
I
Then he
stuck my
his
finger in it.
fingers in it to stop
Jay
it.
from Icarus was dying over
Yeah.
here. He was like, "This guy, I can't believe
like,
I'm
oh
even
my
on this
God.
show
Yeah,
right now."
beer.
So I'll make sure. Don't have me
You'll be
over
on
on a
his,
busy day.
okayest
by the way.
behavior.
Man, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it was a pleasure. Yeah, thanks
you.
so much. And get yourself a book. The books are coming out.
I'll show again.
Yes.
I want-
Feature
I want
that
any
again.
books.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think
I
it's
will give you a
it's
copy.
the
I'll get you a
perfect
copy.
vibe for
I'll
in
get you
here,
one
right?
for the lounge.
That would be great.
Yes.
So available at my store or at johngarofalo.com.
There you go.
And if you can't read, this is a great book to start reading with.
Because it's
A lot
got
of good pictures.
It's got pictures.
It's got pictures.
pictures.
Lots of pictures.
And last but not least,
Yeah.
we have Empanada Guy dough. So if you think you can make yourself a better empanada,
You
then
can't.
give yourself
You
a
can't.
try. And then you're going to be back buying them from him because you realize you can't do
These make all the difference, though. I'm
Yeah.
not going to lie to you.
You
Yeah.
definitely do. Good.
That's
Everything
funny.
starts with good dough, right?
Yes.
Great branding, Carlos. Smart move.
Killer.
Both of you guys. Even with your little pictures on here.
Two smart entrepreneurs here.
We try.
Thank you once again. We're gonna say goodbye to all of you. We'll see you guys next time right here on Essential Guy Talk.
Bye,
Peace.
everybody.
Thanks.